Hi, everybody. It's Mark Rushton of MarkRushton.com. It is Monday afternoon, March 29th, 2021. Taking a little break from the day job. I'm almost done with it, but I take a break. And yeah, I haven't been posting much lately. And not that anybody's paying attention, but been busy. Get some personal business to attend to. I've got numerous chainsaws that I'm juggling in the air. We'll just leave it at that. A lot of things going on. But a few things, you get that the check mark, knock all that stuff off, get that stuff off the list, And so, what are we going to do today? So, I haven't made a video in a week, other than the podcast, which it's doing okay as a podcast, but that's fine. But let's take a look at my Instagram page because maybe you don't even know that I have an Instagram page. I've got a lot of posts out there, a lot of photos. It's eclectic. I generally, here's what I think of Instagram. I use it as sort of a sketching tool and I'll explain when I go through some of the photos here. I also use it as a memory device and, kind of a way to present some personal stuff and try to put it in an artistic way, I guess. I don't know. And I would say about Instagram that Facebook hasn't completely ruined it yet, but by God, they're trying. It seems like every tech company out there is just on the march to the over the cliff, right? They're trying to ruin absolutely everything, messing with your brain. And I don't know whether that's on purpose or not. So I haven't given it up yet because I do like the aspect of taking a photo, messing around with it for my own personal, and then sharing it. Let's go into this here. Yeah, so Mark Rushton is a visual artist and recording artist who lives near Iowa City, Iowa. All that's true. Find out more at, okay. Reels, yeah, I think I tried Reels once or twice. I don't know what IGTV is. Instagram television. There's probably somebody making $1 million off of that, right? Not me. Saved and tagged. Let's take a look. The most recent set of photos here. And so last night I was up in Cedar Rapids at John's home studio. We were making sounds and running some errands and, I had to take care of some personal business too with regard to the estate. So anyway, John and I went on a walking tour of downtown Cedar Rapids after we finished making recordings at his home studio. First by the library, then to the art museum, and then we also went across Green Square Park, which has changed quite a bit since I've really paid attention to it. I mean, I lived up there for 10 years. And of course, now all the trees are gone. First it flooded, then all the trees blew over. That's Cedar Rapids in a nutshell, unfortunately. And then by the Old World Theater, which is kind of where I sort of got my musical start in Iowa City. And from there over to the Matic building and I think once at CSPS and once or twice at the Cherry building, I do believe. Anyway, and the door on the World Theater was not locked. It was just there. It just opened right up. And then we noticed some musical notes on a Skywalk. So let's go take a look at these photos here. So this is the first one here. This is by the parking ramp by the library. One of the parking ramps by the library. It's over by that Pepsi distributor building, which John told me he heard something on NPR about, and I can't find it anywhere, that supposedly there's an old burial site located on that block, or there's that Pepsi distribution center where they used to do bottling there back in the guy who got the Pepsi bottling thing. He got that back in the 1930s, and that had been part of an older building. And then they tore some of that down, or there was a fire. I can't remember. And then they kind of built sort of the facility that they have now, and then they've sort of expanded on that now. They don't do bottling there anymore. They don't do bottling of Pepsi, and they don't do bottling of unbranded drink, local drinks, right? Your local favorites. It's just a distribution area now. But anyway, apparently there had been, when they were digging around, building something or whatever, they came across a whole bunch of graves, which is possible. It's close to the river, and but there was no indication that there had been a cemetery there. And it was probably just like a family graveside, that sort of thing. That's kind of interesting. John telling me about that. And then I can't find it on the internet. And I went and did a big newspaper search, seeing if there was anything in the Gazette about nothing. There's a lot about the guy who got the Pepsi distributorship, or the bottling and the distributorship back in the 1930s. There's a lot of, he's kind of an interesting character. So anyway, and of course I like to play around with light, and I like to play around with mirrors. And so there you go. We're on, I guess we're on 5th Avenue right there. And John's walking. I tried to get that. Just smile for the camera. I know they'll love you better. And then so we walked around the library, which was not lit up, unfortunately. They usually light up the interior to a certain point in time in the evening, but it was already out by the time we were wandering around, which was, I don't know, 8 or 8:30, something like that, which is a bummer because that library, it looks pretty cool. But it is what it is. Then we walked across Green Square Park, which has changed quite a bit since I lived and worked in Cedar Rapids. I used to work at the MCI building, 500. Was it 500 Second Avenue? Was it 500? No. Was it further up? I can't remember the address. I can't remember. That's 20 some years ago. I can't remember everything. So these sculptures were out in front of the Cedar Rapids Art Museum. Kind of an interesting face and non-face. And then we wandered down. Now, the interesting thing about downtown Cedar Rapids is you have all the grain processing facilities, and you have Quaker Oats, and you got trains backing up, shunting, hustling, switching tracks all the time down there. And I think we heard, when we were recording, I think we heard one train. Maybe one further off in the distance. Well, maybe that's Sunday night in Cedar Rapids. Some nights I'm at John's, and it's like that scene in the Blues Brothers, and they go by so often that you don't even notice. Elwood Blues, but down there they blow their air horns, and man, it just goes on and on and on. So when we make sounds, we try to play along to that. And sometimes we do field recordings of the trains, because each engineer has a different way of sort of pulling that horn, how long they do it, and a lot of different aspects of that sort of thing. And I don't know, I kind of think that's sort of interesting and worth documenting, I guess. I don't know. And then how far away you are from the train, and you hear it in the echo it's kind of cool. So we wandered over to the World Theater, which is where I first met John. I think it was in late 2004, if I'm not mistaken. And he and his girlfriend at the time met me there, and they were in the audience, and I played sort of an improvised gig, or laptop and loops. And that was 2004. Not a big crowd, but that's okay. It's nice to have the experience there. And this has been shuttered for a long time, a very, very, very long time. I think it shuttered not too long after I played there, and I don't think it's been open since. I could be wrong. And this used to be the theater downtown, movie theater. And so we went up to it. Yeah, the world is for rent. And so that's I'm not going to tell you who that is there, but he went up to it's all lit up there. And then the sign that used to be on the outside of the world, it's not a marquee, but it was a sign. It's in there. And the door was not locked, which was a little weird. And then I just kind of opened the door and poked my head in and did the zoom. And I thought that was a pretty cool photo there. That's no, that's not been changed in any particular way. And then, of course, that's the backstage there. You got the glass block there. That's kind of cool. And the floor is all leveled out, too. They did that at some point. Just kind of a bummer. I think they were trying to, I don't know what they were trying to do with that. They'd say, well, we don't want it to be a theater anymore. We don't want to compete with the Paramount. Is it the Paramount? What is the one that's down the street? It's not the Paramount. Maybe it is the Paramount. I went there. I can't remember. It's been a long time. And then we're walking back down 3rd Street, and I hadn't noticed this. They have these musical notes on one of the skywalks. This is between this on 3rd Street between 4th and 5th Avenue. And I was trying to figure out the melody. And of course, it's too many notes. Too many notes. I don't think you can only hear so many notes. Just take a few out and okay, so let's back out of this here. What else do I do? I like to take photos. They're somewhat artistic in nature. And so you look at something like this, and I call it the modern day Marvin Cohen. And so if you know anything about Cedar Rapids artists, you would know about Marvin Cohen. And Marvin Cohen was a lifelong friend of Grant Wood. And you know who Grant Wood is, American Gothic. And he taught art at Coe College for his entire career. And he painted in a couple different styles. He kind of painted early on in sort of an impressionist style, if I'm not mistaken. And then towards the later end of his life and career, he did these interior spaces, which are not unlike this photo here, which is a photo of the downstairs part of the condo, which is currently it's still being worked on. And so the drywall's in, it's been mudded and taped. And then they have put over sort of an initial layer. It's not quite the primer, but they've sort of done an initial layer over the areas that had been worked. So it's ready now for the primer and the orange peel. And as you can see, no carpet yet. Got to paint first. Paint first, carpet later. Right? And so I thought if you look at some of Marvin Cohen's paintings, it's very reminiscent of that sort of thing. Sort of that just that desolate interior that says a lot just by the shadows and the forms and the shapes and the way that everything kind of fits together. I mean, I was kind of taught all this in art school. I don't want to give a lesson here, but there's issues with the perspective and how the eye moves. And then I'm trying to formulate the different, the walls, the angles, and it's reminiscent of Marvin Cohen. And then this one here, which is the outside of a Walgreens, the Walgreens in North Liberty. And as I said here, each quadrant makes a statement. If you just, take a look at each quadrant has kind of its own thing going on there. Different shades, different things going through it. But if you put them together, it becomes a bit Barnett Newman-ish, which is also kind of fun. It is a little bit like a Barnett Newman. Maybe I don't know if he did any blue paintings. I'd have to look. But, here he did the little zips. It's like that. If you don't know your art history, look up Barnett Newman. Look at the zips. Look at the zips. And we'll do this one here too. This one's right above my desk, right up here. This is a 24-inch square painting. It's framed. It's in a floating frame. It's acrylic on canvas. And it hangs above my desk. And, it's there for a reason. It's there to kind of remind me of maybe where I want to go, outside of the acrylic ink on synthetic paper paintings. If I want to get back to canvas, what do I really want to do? Do stuff like this, these sort of abstract landscapes. And I think just with everything that's going on right now, personally, I think it'll probably be 5 or 6 months, probably August or September, before I get back to kind of seriously painting again and coming up with new ideas. I just don't have the time or the mental capacity to do it right now. I just don't have it. And I barely have enough time to even think about the music. And then sometimes, like last night, you get out and it's nice to have that social interaction and creativity. Just put it like that. Thanks, Lisa, for the comment. That's nice. And then what else we got here? This is just, a little sculpture cat in the front yard next to the iris. I thought that was kind of pretty, the way the sun hit that. And, again, more reflections. That's in Valley Junction in West Des Moines. That's at the theatrical shop. She looks very nonplussed. And then, of course, a shot of our house from the roadway. I guess it was several days ago. Yeah, all this picture needs is that goth chick from the first Black Sabbath album cover, just kind of standing there off and then kind of, what's going on? And then I sort of have the snowy variation of that from a little over a week ago. And then, of course, where John's apartment is, we went out to the staircase, and there's like oh my God. The staircase is, you have to go out to here to get to the staircase. The fire, the staircase or the fire escape or whatever. Now, it's not the fire escape, but it's the staircases on the side of the building. And so you have like this is just, and there's, Mount Trashmore in the distance, and you're going, it's a good photo. It's a good photo, but look how far back I am. I'm just like, just don't like it. And he's up on the 11th floor, and it's just like, no, get me out of here. And we're getting kind of old there on that sort of stuff. Anyway, that's my Instagram page. Is that fun? Just have fun. Just a little quick creative outlet. Showing things off. Maybe trying to tell a story. Maybe just trying to document. Maybe trying to, I don't know, repair the web of time. I don't know. That's it for today. Back to the day job for a little bit. It's Mark Rushton of markrushton.com. It is Monday, March 29th, 2021. I'll talk to you later.